I think we'll leave that. We're pushing a little long here, but there are two questions I want to ask, and these might be a little controversial, but I've talked about this with Rich. Rich gets on me about this, but the question is 50 old? Is 50 old?
Depending on what you're doing.
I'm saying.
Because how old you are.
Yeah, well, that too, but still. Yeah. Wear skinny jeans, yes.
I look at it like this. I remember when I was 20 years old, 21 years old. I remember my days at A&T, and I remember when someone would say anything north of 40, I thought they were ancient and they were heading towards, retirement. And as you grow older, your perspective changes. You take care of yourself, and if you're fortunate enough to keep some health about you, you can still do a lot of things at 50 years old. So I think it all becomes relative. And to your point, Ty, it depends on what you're trying to do. And then secondly, it depends on how old you are.
Yeah, because I'm always I always say I'm old, and they're like, "Don't say you're old. Don't say you're old." You can't stop your body from aging. You gonna feel it. When I hit, I think it was 40, and I know you say just a number, but things started feeling different. Like they just feel different. You pull things a lot easier, so forth. Once I hit 50, the weirdest thing, certain things just started feeling different. Recovery time takes longer, stuff like that. So I understand that we feel young at 50, and we may even look younger, to people our age or whatever. But 50's on.
But I would say, if you position it correctly, for everything that you can no longer do or can't do as well or can't do as fast, or there are some things that you can do, right? That the years have brought on.
Go ahead,
like the old folks used to say, get a little fat behind your neck, got a little bit of fat behind your neck, you can think a little bit more, you can do some more things. And I think that the balance becomes how you increase those things that you can do to make you not as concerned with the things that you no longer can do. And
hopefully you don't want to do some of the things
that you see now that I wish I could have seen that in my 20s and 30s.
What was that, Tom?
I said, hopefully you don't want to do some of those things you used to do.
That's right.
You would like you're saying. I think the things you can do, I think you don't worry about the things I used to worry about or what people thought and things like that. I think you stay in your lane.
Right.
And to Ken's credit, you can be a young 50. It can be old, but you can be a young old 50.
Yeah.
Because if you take care of yourself, and I think the surprise is if you take care of yourself the whole time, then you don't have that drop off isn't so steep.
Mm-hmm.
But but you can't wait like most of us now, me included, till you gain weight or till you kind of start feeling a certain way. Now I need to get this back. You know what I mean? So I think if you take the time to do the stuff, to do your stretching, to do the things you need to do to make yourself feel like you used to when you got out of bed. But so if you're stretching, if you're doing those things, now all of a sudden you can get that feeling back.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't just get up and do it without putting the work in. And that's that's where the difference is.
Yeah, to Ty's point, like I think I shared with you guys the book that I kind of read, and in many ways that changed my perspective. Like I think in terms of longevity, and so starting now.
What's that book? What's that book, kid? What's that book, by the way?
And over there. Outlive, right? Outlive is the book, right? And it's just a book. It's a book about longevity. He has a podcast. I listen to his podcast, and there's a whole study of just it's basically got two principles. One, living longer, and then living better while you're here, right? Such that you don't start like most people talk about you basically your last 20 years is a decline, right? How can you take the angle off the decline, so to speak, right? And so I feel better at 53 than I did at 43, right? Because I eat better, I sleep better, Yeah, I'm in working out every day. I know how to work out now. I know how to do all the right things. And so, no, I don't feel old at 50. I feel great at 50, right? But that doesn't happen, you know, it doesn't happen without work. You know what I mean? It doesn't happen without
Right.
doing things differently. Because
Mhm.
Father Time is still undefeated, but you can
Right.
fend them off and slow them down a little bit.
Right. And I will say I will say I'm old, but I'm still out trying to ride dirt bikes and I'm jumping jumps when I see some jumps and out there. And I'm risking, major crashes. But yeah, I feel that I'm old, but I'm still doing it even though I'm old. So that's kind of how I feel. And
No,
Rich, I told him you get on me all the time about saying we're old. Oh, I'm a realist, man. That's
yeah,
it is
but I
what it
think,
is.
It's
well,
okay to be a realist, but I also think that Scripture says that life and death is in the power of the tongue.
power of
So
the word. There you go. I was gonna say the same thing,
we
Rich.
got to.
I didn't say I'm about deathbed. I just said
No,
I'm
no, I'm
old.
just.
But still, if you say you
Hopefully
old,
I'm not.
yeah, yeah.
Hopefully I'm not.
Your
Hopefully
body
I'm not.
is listening to you speaking it. So
Hey, I think I'm this.
there might be a better way.
No.
I just at the times I was getting on you about it. If you remember clearly, it was because you were sharing a little too much in the presence
Rich,
of other company.
Rich,
I was like,
I
bruh.
got gray hair,
I was
man.
like,
I got gray hair.
I
You
was
can't
like,
get around
bruh,
that.
you ain't got to tell them that. Let them figure it out.
There you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
I'm just old, man. So that the last major topic, just quick one here. I was watching Soul of a Man podcast. Um, you can catch that on YouTube. They have an episode about dating after divorce, right? But I realized that I know a lot of single men our age, right? So the question is, if you were at your age now, 50, 51, 52, whatever age you are, if you were single, would you be looking to get married still?
Let me answer that.
If
Let
okay,
me answer. I couldn't imagine being single again. I'm so happy
not
I'm
not
married.
well, not not
There you
again, Ty,
go.
not
I
again,
can't even
not
think
again.
about it. I
Look,
have no
not
idea what you're talking about. But
look,
go ahead. Let me get out the way.
listen,
You go
not
ahead.
single again, not single again. But if you had
I mean, I
never
can
ever been
imagine
married,
not being there. That's all. So I'll mute myself. I'll stay out of this.
that is the response I thought I would get, Ty. That is the exact response I thought I would get. I just wanted to know what you guys would say.
Hey
Anyway,
man, look, as previously, it's tough out here. I mean, the scene ain't what the scene is the same, but the game has changed. And to Tyler's point, joking kind of serious, I couldn't imagine being single in this environment and trying to date. And because get back to the getting old thing, right? With that comes some wisdom. With that comes some understanding of yourself. With that comes some things that you do on a day in, day out basis that are non-negotiable. And when you start talking about dating so late in your life, you're talking about potentially having to change things that you've been doing for X amount of years. And some of those things may be for the better. They may be health wise, they may be financial. But some of them may just be some idiotic stuff that you ain't had to deal with in your whole life. And now why would you have to now? So I just couldn't imagine, that world and having to deal with it on a day in, day out basis. It would be very tough.
right. Well, and the reason the whole reason I asked is if you reach 50 years old, 55, you've never been married, why do you have to? What says that's a requirement in life? You can still be happy and have a maid or whatever it may be, but it seems like I know people that are still on that bandwagon to get married for whatever reason, and I'm not saying they shouldn't, but at this point, you know, what? Why
Well,
change your life?
my motivation, if I was in that predicament, would be that I want the cow and I want to obey commandments. So I would wipe her up. And obviously there would need to be a serious relationship with it. You understand what I'm saying when I say I want the cow.
I hear you.
Yeah.
So
I
I
hear
mean, it's just
Just
for
want a
me,
big old heifer.
I, for me, I just sleep better when I feel like
Shout
I'm
out to
trying
Squeak.
to do the right thing. So
But that's probably why you married Dada.
yeah.
You know,
And just
you
like
hit it early.
Todd, man, I couldn't imagine myself with any other.
I
It's
couldn't imagine anybody putting up with my crap. So, I
There's
got very
that.
lucky.
There's
I've been,
that.
I've been, I've been saying it ever since I met Kim. So,
You'd be right. You would be right. So,
It is a nut.
so our closing portion here, we give each person a minute or two just to say something that's on their mind for the week. So I'll let you guys go ahead and jump in. Rich, you want to go first?
Yeah. A little house cleaning. Last week, I was getting water for my dog. I was not in the restroom. I appreciate y'all for. It was somebody that spoke up and said he's getting water. When I looked back at the video, I was pretty embarrassed by that. So, blame it on the being new to this. And I just want to say it's a blessing, as we get older, to be able to be in the company of other intelligent brothers that allow you to speak your piece about stuff that I mean, we all are just what 2-3 years removed from a worldwide social experiment where people got ostracized. I truly was cut off from a whole lot of people for thinking differently. But I think it's a blessing to have access to some sharp cats that allow me to speak my piece and be comfortable in it. You know what I mean? And even though y'all see me as totally wrong, it's okay. So I can't say how much I enjoy this. I really do appreciate being a part of this.
Excellent. We're glad to have you on as well, Rich, man. It's been great camaraderie. Ty, you want to jump in next?
Yeah, hey, Rich, I did on what you said, man. I definitely don't think you're totally wrong. Just about 95%. But
I'll come along. Give me time.
but I will say though that I think we all need that. This is a form of therapy. I think growing up, in our community, having psychiatrists or somebody to talk to was taboo, crazy talk. But I think, man, like you said, as you age, I ain't gonna say get older. I'm not gonna use that word, but as you age, as life hits you, as you start losing people that's important to you, your parents and friends your age, and you kind of need that go to. We
Absolutely.
talk about it with us, iron sharpens iron, but
Man.
the good thing about what's going on is people can say mental health, and I talk to this, and I talk to that, without feeling shame. And so I think that's what's changed for the better, because our community was one of those where, we didn't talk about that. We had to be strong. You had to, and we're all going through something, and to be able to get that out without being judged, I think that's going to add to the quality of life going down and forward too. So I'm thankful for that.
Amen.
Awesome.
Huh?
Yeah, I won't go down too deep a path. I want to shout out a quick Black History Month moment, something I didn't know that came across, and I thought it'd be cool to bring it to the group here. 1936 Olympics. Everyone's familiar with Berlin and Jesse Owens and the feat that he went over and shocked Hitler and everyone else who was going down a different path. But in the 200-meter race, the second place finisher was also an American and also an African American, Matthew Mackenzie Robinson. And while He only finished 4/10 of a second behind Jesse in that 200 meters, and never really got the fame and glory that Jesse got. Definitely not the accolades, and definitely not the financial. But he returned back home, and he became a janitor, and he worked in a high school. But what a lot of people don't know is the example of hard work and good ethics that he had helped pave the way for his younger brother, Jackie Robinson, who went on to do great things in life. So just a little tidbit that I came across I thought was very interesting. Never heard of it before. Just something else to think about, the impact and the contributions that we have continued to make as people throughout the years that never fully get appreciated. And I want to take a moment to appreciate that.
That's neat.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Ken?
So Pete, for me, it's a little bit of my appreciation for history, and always trying to get caught up in kind of current times and democracy in the experiment, the U.S. experiment, right? It's been on my mind. I think Ty, you talked about a little bit of some of the things we all thought would happen in certain situations. I just hope we understand as a collective what democracy means and the difference in having it and not having it, right? And I think especially for us as Black people, when it just wasn't that long ago that we had full rights, equal rights, or even support from the government to kind of do so. If you think about it in the context of equal rights for all, it really wasn't until the 1964 Civil Rights Act that kind of looked at what we used to call protected class to kind of make sure that we had driving towards a more equal playing field. And so in many ways, that's fallen here in the last 10 years, from Supreme Court decisions to policies now. We talked about DEI on the last pod. I hope we, especially as a people, understand what that means as we continue to kind of go about our days. And yes, the price of eggs and our core belief system and all those kind of things about what we see and how we're at times troubled by what others do. I hope we understand that rights can be taken, because for people that like us on this, they weren't there all the time. They just became processes that tried to equal the playing field a bit. And in many ways, while those processes like DEI were imperfect, they were to try to close a gap that hopefully we come to appreciate could be gone for some time.
Okay. Excellent. Great point, Ken. My closing shot, I've got two. I was going to mention some things about USAID, and I think I will just quickly here. What we're seeing with that, it has actually impacted. We say we don't know anybody that's impacted. I have a friend that is actually impacted. She has a business, agriculture business, and they no longer are getting funds for her business. So those cuts are directly impacting people. And I think it's about 80+% of those funds for USAID go to businesses that are in the United States, farmers, aid companies, or businesses that nonprofits that help people in other countries. So that's just a point I wanted to make, because a lot of people don't see that, but it is affecting people. And then in the vein of this being Black History Month, I talked about my guy James Stewart. Well, he's not my guy, but guy I follow, James Stewart. Right?
Yes, you do.
His brother, Malcolm Stewart. I'm going to put him up here if I can find it. Hold on. His brother, Malcolm Stewart, won his first 450 main event in Tampa, Florida this week. 40, 50,000 fans. He and James Stewart, his brother, are the first two brothers to ever win races in this series in the history of the sport. So
that's awesome.
They did set
brothers is in black guys or brothers is in blood brothers?
No, they're
Siblings.
both brothers. And they're both brothers as black guys and brothers. And here's another point. His brother was on the broadcasting team that night.
Nice.
That he won that race.
Nice.
He's been racing professionally for 15 years, and this was his first major class win. So he stuck with it, and they said, they're in the history books now, as he said. So I just wanted to point that out. I'm always going to touch on some motorcycle stuff at some point. And Ken, I'm gonna get you to a race at some point, just so I can say I got Ken Merritt to see a Supercross race.
Hey, Paul, question. Is that 450, like 450 cc's or 450 miles, or what is that?
No, it's 450 cc's. It was actually in the Tampa Stadium, where
that's a lot of engine
the Buccaneers. But yeah, it is. That's one of the points. It is serious business. These guys are supreme athletes. We're gonna have a debate on individual or team sports. No, we're gonna have that time. We're gonna have that individual and team sports. We're gonna have that.
No, we're giving this enough time tonight. We're gonna clap for the Stewart brothers.
So look, we have a party shot for today. I found another quick video that I actually liked. So let me see if I can grab that real quick. And maybe we'll get you guys a smile before the end. It was a lot of mad in this episode. But that is what it is.
That's the name of it, though.
That's the name of it. If we wouldn't get mad, shit, it wouldn't be a podcast.
There we go. So let me grab this video. This was I thought this one was pretty hilarious. Let me see if I can get this to play. Give me just a second.
What the hell was that?
Is that a squirrel?
It was a squirrel. I didn't see a squirrel do that in my life, dude.
Yeah, that was
Huh? Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I'd have about the similar reaction.
Yeah, that almost happened to me on the backyard a couple weeks ago.
I've never seen a squirrel do that in my life, and I grew up in the country. I was like, that was crazy.
Yeah, I opened my trash can and put a bag in there.
I was out there hunting with 16-yard shotgun.
Yeah. I went to open the thing to put trash in the bin outside, and the squirrel looked at me like, ah! And I was like, I slammed it close. I was like, dang.
Oh my God.
And P, I did go check my camera to see if the camera caught it, but the camera didn't catch it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
oh,
so
man.
now I close.
Don't mess with wildlife, man. You never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah. So anyway,
for
Don't be
sure.
messing with this
all
track.
right.
Gentlemen,
Man, but I love you guys.
Hey,
it's been a pleasure.
and more importantly, it's Valentine's, so we love. Hey, so make sure you what's the wife
Glad you
and the
brought that up.
kids.
Appreciate it,
Happy
man.
Don't you
Thanks,
leave here without that. Come on now.
That's
Happy
right.
Valentine's, ladies.
Happy
We love
Valentine's.
you.
Happy Valentine's, ladies.
Yeah, they put up with all y'all shit. You got to go do something.
You're right. I know that's right.
Oh man, it's been a pleasure, fellas. We'll talk to you soon. Talk to you next
All right,
week.
brother.
for
All right.
sure.
Later.
That's love,
All right.
brothers.
Thanks for joining. All right. Thanks.
Stop looking, listen. Enjoy the vibe. Me and my peoples, we keep it live. So take a toke or take a sip. Hold up, don't take a sniff. I hope you're feeling this deep in your bones. What you been missing? A mellow tone. Not from the city or from your hood. I got you smiling and feeling good. The show is done. Relax a bit. I hope the people won't fuck with it. Open your mind. Open open your heart. Dialogue will hopefully start. But if not, we'll say we tried. We didn't run, we didn't hide. We love this world, the people too. We did it all just for you. Out.